Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at summarizing narrative stories and making outlines for them. We do this because we want to be able to understand the sequence of a story, and it helps us also improve our writing. So, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at this plot structure. So, this is the structure or organization of events that make up a fictional story or a narrative story. In the very beginning, we have the exposition, which is called the beginning of the story, that it can introduce three things: conflict, character, and setting. We have the rising action, events before the climax, characters attempt to solve the problem, but often fails. Then we have the climax, the turning point, the point of greatest suspense or action. And then you have the falling action, which is the action events that occur after the climax, and then the resolution, which is the end of the story where the conflicts or problems are solved. You can see that we have filled this plot diagram out for our story that we read together, Orbiting Jupiter. You had that example where we went through all of these different pieces. We had the exposition, the rising action, the climax, the falling action, and the resolution. And if you look at this, you can think of all those things that were in that. So now we're going to just switch over to the narrative story, the 3-paragraph keyword outline. If we look at this here, we see it has those elements that were in that plot structure, the diagram that we have. And in the first paragraph, when you're taking the story that you're reading and you want to take notes from it, you don't do it as we did it as line by line in the informational paragraph or the research paragraph. You actually take it by the story sequence. And so in this case, we'll use the settings and characters. And that is the who, when, and where. And in that paragraph, you take notes for that. So you look at the story and figure out what would be in that one. Then you also go to the next paragraph, which would be about the plot and the problem. You could have the conflict in here, or you can introduce the conflict at the very end of the setting and characters. And that is about the what. That is trying to solve the problem. And then in the climax, we actually solve the problem. And so that's the why and the how. And at the end here, you have a clincher that needs to be congruent or very similar to the title of your word outline, your narrative story 3-paragraph keyword outline. So we use this to take the notes from a story such as The Fox and the Crow. Oops, sorry, everybody. It's lost there for a second. Here it is. The Fox and the Crow. So we've read this together. Let's read it once more. The fox once saw the crow fly over with a piece of cheese in her beak. I want that cheese, thought the fox. When the crow landed upon a branch of a tree, the fox sat down beneath the tree and called, Good day, Mistress Crow. How well you are looking. How bright your eyes. How glossy your feathers. The crow was pleased. She loved to be flattered. I'm sure your voice is even more beautiful than your feathers, said the fox. Won't you sing a song for me, O Queen of Birds? The crow was so pleased she could hardly sit still. She lifted her head high, closed her eyes, and opened her beak to sing, Caw-caw, caw-caw, caw-caw. The cheese fell to the ground right in front of the fox. Thank you, Mistress Crow, he said to the unhappy bird. In exchange for your cheese, I will give you a piece of advice. Never trust a flatterer. So what our job is to take this story, and again, not word for word in each line, but in the story sequence. So the setting and the characters, and then into the plot, and then into the climax or resolution. So as you can see, what we've done here is we've taken that story and we have made a outline. So the first one I called The Glorious Morning. So that is having the setting for us. We introduce our characters, the crow and the fox, tell a little bit about each. Then we move to the plot. So the fox wanted the cheese, the crow had the cheese, and he had to figure out how he's going to do it. So that was in the plot. Then in our climax and resolution, where we solve the problem, the why and the how, he does it by flattering the crow. It opens a beak and drops the cheese. And then here's our clincher. So that is how we outline when we outline a narrative story.